In today's episode of Feedback Friday, we're talking all about how to edit, shoot, and record documentary-style interviews. If we haven't met yet, I'm Genki Hagata, and in this series, we take a look at videos by other creators, break them down, see what's working, see what's not working, also that we have something to learn from. Today we're looking at a video sent in by Derek Tipner. It's an interview-style video, a documentary-style video, all about a local artist near him and how that artist is stretching himself and benefiting himself and other people by being philanthropic. Derek is a philanthropic guy himself, and although he's doing this for fun and is still pretty new to the YouTube space, he plans on, when he monetizes his channel, to give all of it back to charity. What an awesome guy. I'm rooting for you. I don't know how many documentaries Derek has done or how many interviews he's shot like this, but if that's something that you're interested in doing, I think that we can all learn something from watching this video.
Superheroes aren't real. But local heroes.
So far, the video opens up with this nice drone shot, the nice voiceover, and we kind of zoom in on the subject. I like that. It's kind of unique, and it's a good way to introduce the subject.
Got the hat backwards today, I'm one of those photographers.
So this may be a little bit of a strategic critique on the way you're approaching your channel and what you have as aspirations for this interview. As a viewer who's clicking on this video expecting it to be an interview all about the artist, and then after the first 40 seconds almost of being introduced to the artist with this very voiceover style, we see only the artist. We're not introduced to you just yet. This kind of vlog style shot comes at us pretty much out of nowhere, and it catches us off guard. Technically, too, it's a little bit out of focus, and we're focused on the background instead of your face, which is distracting, and I don't know if it's the best decision to leave it in, where if you wanted to keep your voice and you want to keep the introduction, we could leave that as voiceover and cut straight to the shot where you're knocking on the garage door and meeting the artist, meeting Mike. If you get the shot wrong on location, you don't mean to have it out of focus. Believe me, I've shot tons of out of focus shots, but being creative in the edit so you can fix that or hide that is always a good idea.
Oh, it has been. Right, it's been like, 5 minutes. Yeah, okay. Okay, Mike, so talk about what you do.
This is where we start to get in the technical aspects of recording video and audio, especially for interviews. Okay, first off, we get the interview shot. There's a handful of technical things that we can work on here, but before we get to that, how awesome is this guy's garage? This shot that we see here, this background that we're using, is super awesome and super unique. So kudos for getting that. Very well placed. Composition-wise for the frame, well set up, well thought out, no complaints there. I know Derek's probably aware of this and probably kicking himself, but the fact that most of this interview is out of focus is very distracting and, kind of unfortunate. The content is strong and the interview is what's important, so I'm glad he went ahead and uploaded this anyway so that we can hear this interview and meet this artist. Do get the behind the scenes shot of you actually filming this interview so we can break that down a little bit further and see exactly what's going on. But being behind the camera and being this far away from the subject, there's no reason why you can't be in manual focus and pulling focus yourself. That'll definitely give you a much more accurate shot than relying on autofocus in what seems to be a dimly lit garage. The next biggest thing is, of course, the audio. Anytime you're interviewing somebody, you want that audio to be as clean and as crisp as possible. We can see that you're actually quite far from the subject and that the microphone is on top of your camera. Something like this, like a cheap audio extension cable, will allow you to still plug in the audio directly to your camera and get the microphone much, much closer to your subject, and that'll improve your audio quality right away. If you don't have an audio extension cable on hand because you're running and gunning and you're just trying to get the interview, then do your best to get closer to the subject. In a shot like this in the garage, there's no reason why you couldn't have moved Mike closer to the camera or moved closer to him. You may lose a little bit of that background because of the tighter shot, but you get much better audio, and we get a good shot of his environment and his work as B-roll later on. Most of the time, audio is more important than video, and even though we still want to get that video in focus, investing in gear like a lav mic, like an extension cable to help get you better quality interviews is going to go a long way for your production quality in the future.
You talk about how you leave these at certain places, and then give us an example.
A couple things here to finish off the discussion on audio. Derek's made the choice to kind of keep his own voice in there asking the questions. That's a stylistic choice. You see documentaries do both, where you can hear the interviewer's voice, or you ask the subject, in this case Mike the artist, to repeat the answer or to give you the answer while repeating the question. That's a decision that you want to think about ahead of time so that you're not stuck in the edit, either having to leave your voice in or add titles for what the question is to make sense to the viewer. You want options. And because he's sitting there with the camera and his voice is right next to the microphone and the subject's voice is way over there, far away from the microphone, his voice is so much louder than the interviewee's voice in this edit.
Mike, do you want to
Sure.
get into that?
So, kind of.
We can fix that pretty easily in post-production with just a little bit of normalization and maybe a compressor, just so that output video doesn't have those jarring highs and lows.
You can come to my garage, take a piece of wood with paint on it, and then there's no copyright infringement. It's just
Love it.
You have a piece of wood that I gifted you, and I'm not even attached to the donation. It's just, go donate, send me a screenshot, and you can...
So another stylistic choice with this particular interview, we can see Derek holding the camera on his lap. It looks like you have a Joby tripod, so maybe this was a conscious decision to get that little bit of camera shake move. But there's no reason why you couldn't find something in this garage to balance that tripod on to get the shot, and then you're only having to worry about racking the focus manually, of course. The other thing too with manual focus, especially if you have to have that microphone mounted on the camera, is that we can hear the autofocus hunting and trying to focus, and it's kind of loud and distracting in this video.
I think the biggest thing that's come out of this for me, like the strongest feeling
If the microphone was off the camera by the subject, you wouldn't have to worry about that autofocus, but given it is stuck, and if you were to put the camera on, say, a table or a bench and rack focus manually, we wouldn't have to worry about those mic sounds. So I know Derek's already really aware of these focusing issues, but I just wanted to make sure we pointed those out in this video so that we can all learn from it.
He's 10 years old and he's making art and he's spending a lot of time on it and he's making it and hiding it in the world, and all he's getting out of that is...
Aside from the technical things that we've already covered in this video, there's a few stylistic choices that Derek's done that I kind of mentioned in the beginning, and that goes back to deciding what the purpose of your video is. Is this a video that's really focused on the artist, that's something that he can share out, or is it a vlog for your channel that we're kind of using the interview as a device to help tell a different story? That's something that you have to decide and then strategize on and kind of build out the edit based on that strategy. And of course, that's up to you, the director or writer of your own video. Here, Derek's kind of broken the fourth wall into this interview and come in front of the camera. Again, I wish it was in focus, but he kind of jumps into the interview to tell the story and then kind of jumps back out and lets us finish the interview. For his purpose and for his particular channel, I think that works just fine. However, if that was something that he wanted to share with the artist, to share with Mike as an interview, as a takeaway, something that he could put on as portfolio or to help get more work, that wouldn't feel as professional, and that'd be something that maybe you would want to recut a professional kind of interview for Mike and then give that to him. That's always an option too. You can have more than one edit of the same interview.
I've been in this house for a year and a half, and I've met all my neighbors for the most part because of this. I've made really good friends who just stumbled into the garage and had a conversation.
We've been talking a lot about story and beginnings and ends on this channel, and this is another opportunity, like I said, to think about what the purpose of the video is and start to tie in the middle and the end to the beginning that you set up. For this particular one, I feel like we set off as like a really kind of professional or standard documentary where we're just kind of coming in with the voiceover straight into the interview, and then we kind of have these vlog pieces mixed in. As a fan of the artist or whoever you're interviewing, if you were to land on a channel with an interview with that person, you would probably expect to find more information about that person, and these kind of like vlog shots that get sprinkled in are maybe kind of confusing. It was a smart idea to open with the voiceover that's all about the artist to kind of ease people into like your own content and your style. But again, that's just something to think about. It's the way I would do it. It doesn't have to be the way you do it, just strategy, I guess. But regardless of whether you have the vlog shots in it or not, you still want to make sure that they're kind of tying back to that main message, which in this case, I guess, is about philanthropy and about Mike and about his work and telling the audience what he does and how he does it. This is a great interview with a super interesting artist, a super awesome artist, and the content is super valuable. And because that content is super valuable, we want to do our best to capture the audio and the video the best we possibly can with the gear that we have in any given situation. That might be just your vlog setup, that might just be your camera with a mic on top of it, or it could be a whole crew with all the gear that you could possibly need. But if it is your vlog gear or you're just on a tight budget, spend your money where it makes sense, invest in a cheap audio extension cable like this, or just put your cell phone on the interviewee's lap and capture the audio that way. Thanks, Derek. I really appreciate you sending in this video, even though you knew it had some technical issues. I think we can all learn from watching videos that people make that aren't exactly perfect, and don't hide those videos from each other. Share them and learn from them. So again, really appreciate it. If you made it this far, make sure to hit that like button, and for more episodes of Feedback Friday every Friday, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to have your video reviewed on this channel, or you'd like to join the Feedback family, a close-knit group of creators giving and receiving feedback so that we can all learn from each other, you can find the link on how to do those things in the description below. I'll have a new episode next Friday. Until then, bye for now. And the camera has a... Get the camera and something like this, an audio extension cable that can all... And something like this, an audio extension cable can help you move that camera much...